Hello everybody, my name is Sheila or SL Reads, and today I'm going to be doing a video about my most anticipated reads of 2019. I'm just going to tell you about these books in order of publication, except for the first two, which I'm not exactly sure when they are coming out. So the first of those is Wayward Son by Rainbow Rowell. This is the sequel to Carry On, which is about a wizard named Simon Snow, who is the chosen one. It's kind of like Harry Potter. There are a lot of similarities to it. There's a wizarding school, but it does have a lot of differences, including the magic system. The spells are very interesting, and he also, by the end of the novel, finds out a lot about himself and what it means to be the chosen one. I really enjoyed this book, and I also really enjoyed the romance. And I did not know there was going to be a sequel at all. I had seen Rainbow Rowell hinting about it on her different social media, but I was like, oh, it's probably not going to happen. But it actually is. Somebody borrowed my copy of Carry On and has not given it back yet, so you know who you are. The next book is Check Please Volume 2, Sticks and Scones by Ngozi Ukazu, which is the sequel to Check Please Volume 1, #hockey, and this sequel is coming out in fall of 2019. This is originally a web comic. You can read it completely for free online if you'd like to. I just really love this story. It is something that really got me into graphic novels and comics, and so I wanted to get the bind-up version. It's very cute. It's about hockey. It's about baking. There's a gay romance in it. It's just a very fun story. I really enjoy it, and I cannot wait for the next one, especially because that means that the entire series will be finished. I've been waiting for this for years. Like, this has been out for like 5 years. This volume came out last year, but the series itself has been out for a while. The next book is Dragon Pearl by Yoonha Lee, which is coming out on January 15th, which has already passed by the time I filmed this video, but you know, I tried. I don't know too much about this besides that it is a Rick Riordan Presents novel, which is an initiative that Rick Riordan, who is the author of the Percy Jackson series along with a few other series about mythology, it's an initiative that he has come up with to give own voices authors the platform that they need in order to tell their stories. The one I have read from this publishing house is Shah and the End of Time by Roshni Chokshi. This is a Hindu mythology story, but Dragon Pearl is going to be Japanese mythology. I don't know too much about it. I believe it is a sci-fi and it does involve fox spirits. That's pretty much all that I know. I really want to pick it up at some point, but I have not yet. The next book that I'm looking forward to is The Gilded Wolves by Roshni Chokshi, which is also coming out on January 15th. I've already read this book. I was really anticipating this because it is a heist book. It has a wild cast of characters. I didn't know too much about it, but Roshni Chokshi is one of my must-buy authors. I love her so much, and so I wanted to pick this up as soon as possible. I didn't realize that there would be as much magic. There is this magic called forging. If you have an affinity for it, it could be an affinity for mind, so you can control people's minds or change their memories, anything like that, or it could be for more material objects, such as metal or plants. And so we have this wild cast of characters. It does have a lot of similarities to Six of Crows, which I also really did enjoy, but the story itself has a lot of plot twists, and it kept me on the edge of my seat for most of the story. The next book that I am really excited for is The Beauty of the Moment by Tanaz Bethena, which is coming out on January 29th. I have read one book by Tanaz Bethena, which is called A Girl Like That. This was on my favorites list from 2018. I really do not know anything about her next novel. I just love this one so much and it was so powerful. From seeing the cover and reading a slight synopsis, I do believe it's going to be a lighter story than this one was, but it still is going to have those deeper elements that A Girl Like That did have. The next book is The Waking Forest by Alyssa Wees, and that book is coming out on March 12th. This is a fantasy novel that involves a living forest that has something to do with the magic system or just the storyline in general. I don't know a lot about this. The main reason I'm picking it up is because apparently the author is like the daughter of my mom's high school friend or something, and that was enough for me. The story sounds interesting. I would definitely check it out. I have pre-ordered it and I'm excited to read it once I get my hands on it. The next book is Internment by Samira Ahmed, which is coming out on March 19th. This is the author of Love and Other Filters, which is a book that I have not picked up, but it has been on my TBR since I heard about it. It sounds very interesting, and this one sounds incredibly harrowing. This is a story about an internment camp in the United States for Muslim Americans, which actually, since our president has been in office, has seemed like it is a possibility. It's kind of terrifying. The next book is Shah and the Song of Death by Roshni Chokshi, which comes out on April 16th. This is the sequel to Shah and the End of Time, which is a novel that I love from last year. As I mentioned before in this video, it is from the imprint Rick Riordan Presents, and it is an own voices story kind of along the line of Percy Jackson, but following Hindu mythology instead. So similar to Percy Jackson, our main character, Shah, is the daughter of a god. In the first novel, we find her dealing with the end of the world, and this one is a little bit different than that, but still sounds very fun. From the synopsis, I've found that the god of love's bow and arrow have been stolen, and our main character is implicated as the thief of it. And the one issue is that the bow and arrow are being used incorrectly to turn people into sort of zombie-like creatures, so she has to deal with that and also be on the run from the gods who are looking for her because she has stolen the bow and arrow. So the next novel is How Not to Ask a Boy to Prom by S.J. Gosley, which is coming out on April 23rd. S.J. Gosley is the author of Whatever, which is one of my favorite novels from 2018, and so that's the main reason that I wanted to pick this up. I don't know that much about it besides that it seems to be a rom-com sort of novel following high school students. S.J. Gosley writes high school with such integrity and there's so much realism in it, and I really enjoyed that fact because I am a teenager and I have been in high school recently. And so it seems that there is some sort of love triangle, love angle. I'm mostly getting that from the cover, which has 3 dudes on it. I don't know who the main character is or who he's going to ask to prom. I guess I'll just figure it out as I go.
Hello again, everybody. As you can see, everything has changed. The day has changed by like a week and a half probably since I first started filming this. My location has changed. I'm currently sick, freshly showered, and I just want to get this video finished because I have a lot of stuff to do and I want to be able to post this. The next book that I'm heavily anticipating is Sorcery of Thrones by Margaret Rogerson, which is coming out on June 4th. Margaret Rogerson is the author of An Enchantment of Ravens, which is something that I really enjoyed, and I believe I read it in 2017. It was really good. The fact that I like that one is the main reason that I want to read this one. Apparently it's a lot longer than the last one. They're not connected in any way, but I am still quite interested in reading it. All I really know about this is that there is a magic library and the main character is a librarian there. Don't really know what she is doing. I'm just very excited, and I've seen the cover and it looks amazing just like the last one, so I'm pretty excited about it. The next book that I want to talk about is actually 2 books. The reason for that is that there are 2 books from this one series coming out this year. The series is the Green Creek series by TJ Klune, which I began in beginning of 2018, I believe. I read 2 of the books in 2018, which were Wolfsong and Ravensong. I really liked both of them. It's a story about queer werewolves. It's a really small town in Oregon and all the different adventures that they end up going on. It's very intriguing, and I definitely recommend to anybody who wants to read a story with a lot of LGBT representation, as well as werewolves and witches and other magical creatures. We haven't really expanded that much into the universe, but the second book did like go a lot farther than I was expecting it to, so I do have high hopes for the next 2 books in the series. Originally we were just supposed to be getting Heartsong, which is supposed to come out in September of 2019, but then at the end of last year I believe, TJ Klune, the author, announced that the final book in the series, which is called Brothersong, is going to be coming out in December, so I'm very excited for both of those. I'm not sure if this is actually happening or if he might actually postpone it, but I'm very excited and I hope that it does actually come out then. The next book that I'm excited for is Darkdawn by J. Kristoff, which is coming out on September 3rd. This was supposed to come out last year and I'm kind of peeved that it didn't, but I still haven't read the second book in the series, so I guess it's okay. This is the final book in the Nevernight trilogy, which I feel like has been compared to Throne of Glass a few times just because it follows a young assassin girl, but one thing to note is that it is an adult fantasy and not a young adult fantasy, so do not go into this expecting it to be young adult and like fluffy. The first page starts with her murdering someone and talking about how like you shit yourself when you die. I've only read the first book and I read it a few years ago. I have the second book, which is called God's Grave, and I have not gotten around to it yet just because every single time I want to read it I'm like, I feel like this is just going to take over my life and I don't really have time for that, so I have not done it. But the final book is amazing. I'm very excited for it. Hopefully I will be picking that up this year and hopefully it will actually come out this year and then the series will be complete. The final book on my anticipated reads list is The Starless by Erin Morgenstern, which is supposed to come out on November 5th. Erin Morgenstern is the author of The Night Circus, which is one of my favorite books of all time. I read it 5-6 years ago. I really enjoyed it, and The Starless Sea is in no way correlated to this, compared to it, connected to it, but I love that book so much and I've just been waiting and waiting, and I saw somebody else's video about their most anticipated reads and they said it was coming out and I was like, oh my god, I didn't even know, and I added it to my Goodreads and I added it to this list, so I'm so excited for it. Literally, I have no idea what it's about. I feel like there is a synopsis, but I just haven't read it because I know I'm going to pick it up no matter what. So that is the end of my list of most anticipated reads of 2019. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know down below what books you're anticipating for this year or what books you plan to read this year. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye.